Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 13th of May 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this afternoon session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation. It should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, let's quickly jump into the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on here is very quickly is DAX. Now, I've talked about this one last week, and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this upside support line taken from the low of the 27th of December, which the index is already about to test. It is also about to test the 11,850 level. Now, I've talked about all these last week as well, and just kind of told you to keep a close eye on the psychological 12,000 level, because a break below that could potentially lead this index towards further declines. Now, this is the area where we're going to be very cautious, because of course all eyes are going to be on this upside support line. In a way, if it continues to hold, then we may see maybe the bulls stepping in again here, the buyers, and potentially maybe driving this one back up here towards the 12,000 level. But again, in such a scenario, we would need to see this upside support line, this medium-term upside support line, holding the price from kind of from moving lower. But of course, don't get me wrong, we might see maybe an overshoot here, an undershoot, which could go a little bit further here to the downside. But if the 4-hour candle struggles to close below this upside support line, and even if we see, let's say, the daily candle closing above this upside support line, then, well, this could be still good news for the bulls, as we could see this one reversing and pushing back up again here. But still, in order for us, let's say, to consider higher levels, well, for now, what we would need to do here is, of course, look at this upside support line. If it holds, then we would need to see a nice good push above this little short-term downside resistance line taken from the high of May the 3rd. So that's why, guys, for now, long story short, we will only consider higher areas in the near term, or should I say, at least in the short term, if we see a push back above the psychological 12,000 level. If this upside support line fails and we see a close below this upside support line, of course below this 11,850 level, this would raise concerns, of course, about the short-term upside scenario. And we could see this one maybe traveling further down. For those who like to kind of get that better confirmation, you could in a way wait for the 200 EMA getting broken here, the 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart getting broken, and then targeting lower areas. But for now, all eyes are on this. Let's see how this is going to play out. For now, this is looking quite bearish, but then again, let's see if this medium-term upside support line is going to hold. CAC40, the French index, I've talked about this one last week as well, and it managed to reach our level here near the 5,265. It continued to trade nicely below this downside resistance line, the short-term downside resistance line taken from the high of the 3rd of May, and currently, like I said, it's balancing near this 5,265 level. Of course, it still has some room here. As you can see, it still has some room to travel lower. This is a very good potential target for support here near the 5,205 level. As you can see, this was near the lows of the 25th of March and almost, well, actually at the lows of the 28th of February. So good potential target here. Let's see if it continues to travel further down. For now, for us, let's say, to consider further declines, we need to see a nice good close below the this 5,265 level, and this way, like I said, it could open the path towards this area right here near the 5,205, and then we'll take it from there, see if it actually wants to travel further down or not. If it does, well, it's going to turn out to be quite ugly for this index. In order to consider higher levels now, given that the given where the price is right now, what we need to see here is now a push, of course, above this short-term downside resistance line, and ideally we would like to see a push back above the 5,340 level here. This way the price would travel back above its 200 EMA. A nice good close above this area here could open the path towards the towards these higher levels again that we've seen last week. So for now, guys, be very careful, be very cautious. Of course, on the 4-hour chart, we are quite extended here to the downside, but then again, there could be still some room for a further slide lower. So that's why, guys, for now, keep your eyes on this, keep your eyes on the 5,265, and let's see how this is going to play out further. AUDJPY. Now this is amazing today because, of course, we do have a combination of a very weak Australian dollar and a very strong Japanese yen. So as you can see, it's the risk off environment right now dominating this, and yep, this is not looking good for this pair. You can see that it continues to trade below this downside resistance line taken from the 17th of April. For us, for now, what we're going to do here is, of course, we're going to try to find a good potential target here. So basically, this is where the pair is currently set at. It's currently sitting balancing around the inside swing high here of the, even actually the high of the 3rd of January, which is around the 76.05 level. As you can see, that just where the rate is currently is right now. So yep, this is the 76 level. That's what we're going to be keeping a close eye on. So let me just quickly put this line here just for our future reference. So this is going to be very interesting to see if this level is going to continue to hold. If it does, we may see a bit of correction here back to the upside. Would be interesting to see that. And if we do see a push back up, of course, all eyes are going to be on this downside resistance line, because if it holds once again, then we may see another leg of selling here. But again, for now, guys, all eyes are on the 76 level. This is where the rate is balancing right now. Further declines, well, in a way, if we go further here, we need to look for another potential area of support here, one of which could be here near the 75.30 level, approximately there, which is marked kind of by one of the intraday swings highs here of the 3rd of January, also by the intraday swing low. So this is a very good potential target here at around 75.30, but then again, we would need to see a nice good sharp break here below the 76 zone. So that's why, guys, for now, this is where the pair is currently set at. Again, it might actually rebound a little bit here, but again, let's not overcomplicate things. For now, let's continue observing this one, because at this point in time, it would be a little bit difficult to actually predict where exactly will it go now, because we are quite overextended here to the downside already. So we may see maybe a small rebound here back up, push back up towards these little highs here, these little lows here that we saw on the 9th of May, which were around the 76.32 zone, approximately there. So this could be a nice target here for a possible rebound here. for this pair. So keep your eyes on this. If we do see a bit of a move above that 76.32, then yep, the last resort for the bulls, for the bears to step in would be this downside resistance line. In terms of the upside, well, what we need here is a nice good push above this level right here near the 76.78 approximately there. This way we could then potentially target some higher levels. Initially we will aim for the 77.43, 44 zone approximately there. Which acted as a previously acted as a good area of support here, or in other words, the lower side of the range that the pair was trading in. But again, for now, it seems that the upside could be slightly off the table. Let's see if the 76 level holds. If it does, then we may see a small rebound here, maybe going back towards the 76.30, and then we'll take it from there, see what he wants to do. Does he want to actually test this downside resistance line and then travel lower again, or actually does it want to break it, or maybe does it actually want to break the 76 level straight away? If it does, well, of course, this could be opening the path towards the 75.30 level that I've mentioned earlier. Very quickly on USDJPY, also similar situation. Basically, we are having a strong yen today, so a lot of yen buying, and basically everybody's trying to jump now into safe havens such as the yen currency and also the Swiss franc. So now looking at this, also the pair is sitting near its key support zone near the 109.10. It will be very interesting to see where this pair travel from now. There could be a chance that we may see a small rebound here back to the upside. Now I do have this level here around the 109.55. Now in a way, if we see a rebound and but the pair, let's say, is not willing to travel higher yet, we may see actually the rate stalling maybe around here, somewhere around the 109.45. So a nice good push back here towards the 109.45 approximately there could maybe kind of interest the bears again to step in at later stage at a higher rate here and potentially drive this one lower. But if this travels back above the 109.60 level approximately there, sorry, it wasn't 55, it was 60, so 109.60, then yep, this is where it could become interesting for the bulls again. We maybe see a better move higher here towards the 110 zone, or even slightly above that towards the 110.25. so that's why, guys, for now, keep your eyes on these levels. Of course, the more important one is this one right here at 109.10. As you can see, the pair is already breaking below it. In a way, if it continues to slide lower, where it could find another little small resistance or support is around here, around the 108.95 zone, something like that approximately there, and it may rebound from this area. So, but then again, keep your eyes on these two levels for now. Of course, this is looking quite bearish, but then again, we could see a small retracement back up here before another leg of selling. Very quickly into Euro Aussie. Now this is something that we've threw out here on TradingView this morning. So basically this is what we were saying, that keep a close eye on this key resistance at 1.6115, and as you can see now, the pair is shooting above that and it's breaking this so nicely. That's great for the bulls. It's traveling higher, it's pushing towards its potential next target near the 1.6186, which previously acted as a good area of support here back on the 2nd of January this year. Now it could take the role of resistance, so keep your eyes on this, guys. Very important level. So if we see this one pushing further up here, we may see the rate stalling around here maybe, and then maybe retracing, kind of allowing the bulls to regroup for another potential move higher. Something like this could be possible, so keep this in mind. Also, don't forget about this little tentative upside support line. So in a way, if we see a drop back below the 1.6115, this is where it could become a little bit interesting for the bears again. I'm not saying that this is now going to turn bearish, but we could see maybe we could see more correction here to the downside, potentially aiming for this upside support line again. But if the 1.6023 zone fails to withhold, now this is where it could turn out to be ugly for the bulls again, and we may see deeper slide lower. For now, of course, this is trying to push higher. Let's see how far it can push. Again, I'm saying that there might be a small retracement at some point, of course, but it could be after we test the 1.6186 level. So keep your eyes on this one. Keep your eyes on the price action here, and let's see how this is going to perform later on. And the last pair, very quickly, I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but this is quite interesting. GBPUSD is pushing towards this key area of resistance. Now, I talked about this one last week. Basically, I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on these two levels here. So on the downside, the 1.2975, and on the upside, the 1.3045. So it's currently traveling towards that area. This level also coincides with the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. Basically, a nice good break above this could potentially open the path back here towards these highs that we saw here last week, and in the beginning of last week, of course, and we could target the 1.31 or the 1.3125 zones. So keep your eyes on those. Let me just quickly adjust this, or even better here, we've got the 1.3130 zone approximately there. Could be a nice good potential target. So that's why a nice good pop above the 1.3045 could lead towards a possible test of the 1.3130 zone. So keep your eyes on this. In terms of the downside here, what we need to see here is, of course, a break below the 1.2975. Ideally, we would like to see a close of the 4-hour candle below this level as well. This way, we could then target the 1.29 zone, or even actually going further down. But for now, it seems that the upside could be slightly off the table, but then again, before we can get comfortable with the upside, we need to see that good break here above this 1.3045 level. So keep your eyes on this one, guys. Okay, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and if you want to join me tomorrow morning at my Traders Espresso, as always, that's 6 o'clock GMT time. But for now, I hope you have a wonderful evening, guys, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.